Hello everyone, this is Spider Anurus, and I know it's been quite a while since I've done a video on this platform. Now you all may be wondering where I have been for quite a long time, or probably not, that's your own opinion. Um, I'm not gonna do any sort of flashy, not gonna make this dialogue cute, I just gonna say this straight, and, well, life. Yep, that's right. Life kinda got in the way. Hey, but I assure you that I will be. I am starting to get back into the YouTube sense of things and gonna be start doing content with you. Oh, but as an update, I am not gonna have a regular uploading schedule. It's probably gonna be on occasion, so probably either on an occasional Friday or maybe a Sunday. Who knows? But when I get the chance to record, I'll record and upload the video as soon as I can and get the content out for you guys. But today, but today this is but since this is a special, interesting occasion, I thought we could start off the first video of 2023 with a review. And yes, this is probably the most stupidest, a probably generic video I could have done, but besides that, um, today we'll be taking a look at two TARDISes. This from the GMOD TARDIS add-on. The first one we got over here is the 1975 TARDIS extension, and of course the one used by Tom Baker, who played the Fourth Doctor, and all that, and and is one of the first ever TARDISes he used. But as you can see, it's a modified, a, as you can see, well, you could say it's a modified variant of the Pertwee TARDIS, except, as you can see, the lamp is a different shade and the color is different. So yeah, we'll be taking a look at that first. We also got our second TARDIS to look at. Now this one is not from any show or anything. This is a custom TARDIS made by a certain person. By the way, the links in the description will be the links to these add-ons will be in the description if you want to download these for yourself, including its required items. So if you want to get these two TARDISes a shot, that'd be very appreciative to not only the people who created them, but also to me, since you checked out my video to see these things. But enough about the rambling, and let's get into the main thing of it. Starting off with the first one is the 1975 TARDIS. It's your old standard police box prop that they used in the show. Oh, as you can see, they got the gray police box sign on there with the pull the open sign, as you can tell. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, as you can tell, and as you may well know, this is probably the most interesting TARDIS. It's very accurate to the detail, though you may be wondering why this side is like this. Well, from what I've learned, this is actually how the prop looked like in the show, including in the Pertwee TARDIS. They didn't have time, since you mostly see this TARDIS during frame shots with it even doing on this side, or in the front, or even in the back. You never really see it from this side, and because of that they didn't really have time to, well, paint it. Even this is probably accurate. But enough of that. As we go into the TARDIS, you can see it's exactly like you would expect from the show. Oh, and let me just flip the door close. Now, as you can tell, we got a pretty standard 1970s TARDIS console with some elements of the padding and controls on the top, as taken from the the old Three Doctors special. Oh, and as a celebration, by the way, and since this is also an interesting fact, since Doctor Who's 60th anniversary is coming up, I thought this would be a good idea to, well, you know, do this. But as you can tell, we got all sorts of different controls here. We got the door switch, the manual flight control, which you could just take off. Let me just move it a little bit. And we also got on the console itself. It's very cool, very standard, but also very classic, as you might remember. The detail on this is really good. And if we go up, you can also see more of that detail with the top, as you can tell. It's really interesting. Sorry if I'm speeding through this like always, just checking out if my settings are you know, plausible. But as you can see, the TARDIS is very, very unique. It has multiple different functions. We also got the hidden function. But anyways, most of these buttons do something, like the door switch, the virtual console, which basically allows you to enter a virtual, well, console where you can hit different buttons without having to hit the actual controls. This is also very useful in case a certain TARDIS doesn't have a lot of controls. We also got the fast return switch, where if you were at like a previous location, you could flip this up and the TARDIS would take you there. I'll demonstrate it in a bit. We also got the coordinates. Coordinates, where you can enter your own coordinate panel or select it manually, where you can basically go anywhere. So, for example, I'll be right here. Yeah. We also got the randomizer, which will automatically set a random destination in whatever map you're in. We also got the space-time throttle, which basically, as it says, is the DMAT lever. We also got a cloaking device, which, if I were to show it off, the cloak is enabled, as you can tell. And now the TARDIS is invisible. Sort of. You can tell the shadows are still... But I can still go in perfectly. Now we can turn that off. It has a neat little animation, which you probably might already know. We also got the HAD system, or the Hostile Action Displacement System, where if I were to shoot the TARDIS, like... Well, first, let me just link up. Let me just link up the TARDIS. And as you can tell, we also got a lot of different other controls. Those right here. But before we even get into the HAD system, we also got other stuff like the self-repair, which, if the TARDIS is at low health or it is in a critical situation, you flip this lever and it repairs itself. We also got a music thing, where you can load off a lot of different Doctor Who related things relating to the show. You can also add your own custom music in here, where you can add a bunch of different types of songs that you like. So so if you wanted to listen to the Scream of the Shalka Doctor Who theme, you can. And all you have to do is put in the URL of the song, and then enter a custom name for the song you want to listen to it. For me, I always put it into the, well, thingy, put it into the song that it's named of, so there's that. The anti-gravs, which, of course, makes the TARDIS float. We also got the manual flight control, as demonstrated. We also got the door switch, another space-time throttle, and this was not there the last time I checked out this TARDIS, so that's also a neat little feature. You can also press some of the miscuing buttons. There's also the locking down mechanism, which, oh yeah, sorry if you're hearing some of the Steam notifications. But as you can tell, you can also, the locking down mechanism, what it does is it prevents the TARDIS from moving, basically. And let me just turn off the HADs real quick, so that way I can explain it, so I can showcase it. So, if I were to, like, spawn, let's say this car right here, and were to drive, into the TARDIS, it doesn't move. It locks the TARDIS in that place, so in case a player wants to, like, mess with your TARDIS, you can activate it in a server. You can activate this, and it prevents your TARDIS from ever being messed with or damaged. Though it will take some of the TARDIS's health, though, so be very sparingly with it. We also got the door lock, the time rotor handbrake, which, if I were to, let's say, try to take off, I cannot dematerialize because I turned on the handbrake. There's also a neat little feature that happens when you do that. When you dematerialize, then turn the handbrake on, which I'll get to in a bit. We also got the vortex flight, which, if I can hit the control, it disables vortex flight. What this means is that when the TARDIS usually dematerializes, it goes in through a vortex. That's the main function. What vortex flight does is that it disables that and allows you to basically dematerialize instantaneously. Basically, when you land somewhere, or you don't have to go to the vortex to just get that there. It could be an instantaneous, as like in the show. We also got this neat little button here, and of course, the power switch. Turns off the power, the TARDIS can't do anything, and it has this nice deep lighting right here. We also got some neat sounds. Then we got this screen here. Now, it's probably the least interesting, but the most interesting thing you could do is activate the screen where you have the coordinate input, manual destination selection, a virtual console, music, a manual flight control, the scanner, which allows you to, well, look at the environment from the screen, and a TARDIS status thing where you can look on the status of the TARDIS and see what its current status is in. We also got a redecoration feature where basically you can redecorate the TARDIS, where if you activate this, it shuts down the TARDIS and redecorates into a different version of the TARDIS, basically a different extension or a different TARDIS you've downloaded. And I'm not going to demonstrate that here because, well, to be honest, I don't really feel like it. But you could probably get the basic idea of what this does. We also got the spin direction, which changes your spin direction, the destination select, and a few more ipsy bobs. Now, there's most controls that are just customatic, like here, for example. But I think that's not something you want now. You want to see into the good stuff. So let's dematerialize. Oh yeah. Perfect timing. You can actually see the instantaneous travel, as you can tell. And we've landed in the same area as before. Now, if I were to, let's say, turn off vortex flight, if I can find the switch, and then dematerialize. You can see we're now in flight with the noises indicating that we are indeed traveling through the time tunnel. Now, if we were to, let's say, go into it, we have this lovely looking vortex from the show during the 70s. it's really fantastic. It's great to see that people did a lot of care into this. And if we go into the front, we have the other time of the vortex, which you've probably seen from not only the fourth Doctor but from the third Doctor. You can also spin around. It's really neat, and it's good to get away from all that. A fun fact about this is that the TARDIS spawns in the skybox, including the vortex. So don't worry about the TARDIS being the interior being noticeable. Though I will warn you, but I will warn you, the smaller maps tend to have an effect on the TARDIS. So be sure that. So if you were to go into spawn a TARDIS, make sure it's a small interior, or you could just go into the options menu. And, well, go to admin, go to either admin, destination, exterior, or, if I can find it, you can basically, in one of these settings, you can basically activate the no interior mode. This mostly works on maps that have not enough space for the TARDIS to land. So you can just activate this, and it basically allows you to fly the TARDIS in the flying mode, in the manual flight mode, without having to go into the interior first. So let us just land. Excuse me if this is taking a while. Now as we land, you can see we're in the same area again. Now I'll actually demonstrate some of the other things. For example, for the other features. We also got the cloaking, as you might tell, if I can activate it. It's one of these buttons. But to have a more primal example, as you saw a bit of there, the TARDIS has a neat little animation of, well, all of that. You also saw a lot of the different controls and buttons and all of that. But you probably are wondering, why am I not going through a detailed review of this? Well, most of you probably already know what most of these systems do, and what the function of this is. Like, of course, it's a TARDIS. But besides that, we also got the random destination lever, which, of course, select a random destination, redecoration, and all of that. But overall, this is a pretty decent TARDIS, and I have fun enjoying it. And the next one we will now demonstrate is this bugger. Now, let us just get our hands a bit dirty right here. Or, I guess, Sonic in this case, also. As you can tell, you might hear noises. Now, you might already know what this entails, but to give you a hint, it's a Homestuck themed TARDIS. From what I heard, it's like an adventure type game, but in a comic book. And from what I learned, Homestuck is a very weird, well, genre or series. So really neat. I've never really gotten into it, nor have I heard of it before. But I have, but not in most lights. But anyways, as you can tell, we got a funny little Homestuck related thing. High blood use only. Any and all attempts to catalog will be met with calling. You will be killed on sight. Don't be a stupid, well, idiot. Pretty funny, as you can tell. This also comes in many different skins. This one, not so much. Skin 1 is, of course, the default. Skin 2, or Skin 1 as it says, is a purple one. but this time it has a different thing. Garrison use only. You could tell it has minor changes like this is with different things. The most interesting is this, where it's basically having the classic police box sign and the pull to open thing, but it's white. Pretty interesting. But now, let's get into what you were asking for. Now, let's also make this a bit more fair by turning it into day. As you can tell, this is a very creative looking TARDIS. We got a bunch of Fayou, red punch, red pop sodas, some cards from Homestuck, a weird looking clock, and a bunch of different images of the Homestuck series in many different lights. We even got a bucket. We even got a wall scanner. Now, we even got funny little references. We even got this crop top, and most of this does what you expect. That's the disengaging, that's the flight toggle, that's the dematerialization, that's the door. This presses stuff. The jumper block extension is the spin thing. Well, Scratch the TARDIS is, well, the redecoration. The hollow pad's the cloak. And as you can tell, it has really interesting sounds and effects. We even got the power switch. Very interesting. We even got a holodeck, which is an anti-grav node, a fractured plane, which is, yeah, a handbrake, and a punch card slot, which activates the HADs, with a little TARDIS from the Tom Baker era right in the front. We even got, of course, a music player, a little keypad that sets your destination to a random one, the engine release, which oh, well that's interesting. Never found that before. Which, I think if your TARDIS is yeah, don't want to be copyrighted. Anyways, we also got a sonic dispenser, another thing, a fast return switch, and basically all the controls that you would probably hear here, you would probably see, except for this. This is purely decorational. Very interesting. Now let's see this baby go. Here it is dematerializing. And here it is in the vortex. And yes, there's a lot going on. It's very big. We've got the front, which is even more extreme. But that's pure Homestuck for you. Now as we land, we also have a neat rematerialization sound, which of course sends us to a random place. Perfect landing. But that's not all. We also have more. Now if I were to spawn this, we also have other versions. Here we have the Skyship base version, which is basically a TT capsule. The first one is obviously the classic Homestuck logo. Oh, and it's white. I'm saying a gray one with a purple logo. Another white one with a red logo. and a black one with a blue logo. It even has its own custom. Ah, looks like the TARDIS is going on a vacation. but as you could tell, it's got its own custom sounds and everything. We even have a vending machine. This is one of its skins, Tab Nutrition. Own custom sounds and effects. We even got its first skin. Of course, Fago. Oh, but not just Fago in here, but also a bunch of different flavors. And I think that will be the end of the review. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy this. I really like these extensions. They're really good, and I feel like they should probably be recommended. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you like it, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and make sure to ring the bell if you are subscribed. And I hope to see you in another video whenever I can. This is Spider Anuris signing out, and I'll see you later, my creepy crawlies. Bye bye.